It is fantastic to have you with us. We spend days just sifting through mountains of data to find the gold for you.
That is the standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
We do the heavy lifting so you don't have to navigate the labyrinth alone.
Exactly. The Sacred Play podcast is a production of the Church of Sacred Play. Come in.
Come in.
Bring your wonder.
The Church of Sacred Play is a humanist community that uses story, play, and a little stardust thinking to inoculate you against cynicism.
Story, play, and a little stardust thinking. The Sacred Play podcast is our way of bringing those fresh ideas and radical kindness to you.
Yeah. Radical
kindness. To practice compassion, sharpen critical thinking, and build a kinder world together. You're getting a podcast that challenges you to engage with the world.
Exactly.
Not just as entertainment to pass the time during a commute, but as sustenance.
A vitamin for your humanity.
No supernatural claims required. Just curiosity, dignity, and the courage to care out loud.
The courage to care out loud. So come on in and bring your wonder. The Sacred Play podcast, the Church of Sacred Play.
thechurchofsacredplay.com. I want you to picture a scenario. It's that classic daydream we all have, right?
Oh.
You're staring out a window or maybe trying to fall asleep, and you imagine it. The city's in chaos. There's some big crisis unfolding.
And everyone else is panicking.
Everyone is panicking, but you step up, you're calm, you're decisive, you're the hero. We all have that, moral cape tucked away in our mental closet, don't we?
We do. And it's an incredibly seductive fantasy. It's very human. We just assume our virtues are sitting there, dormant, just waiting for the bat signal to light up the sky.
Exactly. We think our morality will just, activate, like a superpower we didn't know we had.
Right.
But the thing is, today's deep dive is going to kind of shatter that fantasy, or maybe replace that cape with something a lot less glamorous.
But much more useful.
Much more useful. Because the source we're unpacking today, it argues that morality isn't a costume you put on. It's a reflex.
It's muscle memory. And it's about biology as much as it is about philosophy. The core argument here is that when a real crisis hits, your brain doesn't betray. It doesn't pause to consult a test book on ethics.
No.
Your vision tunnels, adrenaline spikes, cortisol floods the system. And in that state, you don't rise to the occasion.
You sink to the level of your training.
You act from habit, not from intent.
That phrase, that's honestly a little terrifying. It implies that if I haven't been training, I'm going to sink pretty low.
Well, yeah.
So to unpack this, we're looking at a piece called The Moral Fire Drill. It's from the Church of Sacred Play.
And we should probably frame this source a bit. A lot of you listening are probably familiar with the Church of Sacred Play. You know their vibe.
Yeah, it's usually whimsical, right?
Yeah.
Cosmic wonder, playfulness, metaphors about fairies.
It's often very comforting. But this piece is different. The author even calls it hope with teeth.
Hope with teeth! I like that. It's not soft. It feels more like a manual on how to rehearse decency for when the world gets ugly.
And it does get ugly.
It does.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not just talking abstract ethics. We're looking at what it means to drill for a moral crisis, just like a firefighter drills for a fire.
Okay, so we're going to break down the staircase theory of evil, walk through a really haunting fable about lantern keepers.
And then finish with a literal workout plan for your conscience.
All right, let's start at the beginning. The source makes this really sharp distinction about what morality even is. Because, when I hear people talk about morality, it's usually about following the rules.
Doing what you're told. Yeah. The source calls that authority-based morality. The whole system is just. It's determined by an external force, a politician, a book, or just the way we've always done things.
The key word is obedience.
Exactly. And to be fair, that feels safe, doesn't it?
It does. It's so much easier to just be told what to do. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
You comply.
It feels safe, yes. Until the authority asks you to do something that, violates your conscience. The source argues that if your goodness is just compliance, that's fragile.
So what's the alternative?
They call it principled morality, and it's based on 4 specific pillars.
Okay, let's walk through these. The first one is freedom.
Pretty straightforward. The basic, non-negotiable right to your own mind and your own body.
Simple enough. Second is harm.
This is the baseline filter. Does an action cause suffering? Does it strip someone of their dignity? If the answer is yes, it's suspect. It doesn't matter if it's tradition or if it's legal.
If it causes harm, it fails the test.
Fails the test. Third one is help, which seems simple.
Yeah, showing up when someone is in pain.
simple to say, but it's the active component. It's not just not hurting people. It's the difference between watching an accident on the sidewalk and actually stepping into the street to help.
And the fourth one, this is the one that really got me, honestly. It's revision.
Revision. Why did that one stick out to you?
Well, we usually think strong morals means being unshakable, right? I stick to my guns. But this pillar says the opposite. There's a quote, "If we can't revise, we aren't practicing morality, we're practicing loyalty."
That is such a crucial distinction. Think about it. If you learn new information that shows you're causing harm, and you refuse to change because that's just who I am.
You're not being moral, you're just being loyal to an old version of yourself.
You're prioritizing your ego. True morality has to be flexible enough to say, I was wrong. I learned. I changed.
It reframes changing your mind as a moral duty, not a weakness. That's a huge shift.
It requires humility. A lot of it.
Okay, so we have these 4 pillars. But the source says even if we believe in them, we often fail because we're looking for the wrong kind of threat. We're waiting for the movie villain.
We're waiting for the cliff. We expect evil to show up with, ominous music and a guy in a black hat asking us to do something obviously horrible.
Like, do you want to kick this puppy?
And of course we'd say no. Anyone would say no to that. But reality is so much quieter. The source uses this metaphor of the staircase.
The staircase.
The world rarely asks you to betray your values in one giant leap. It just asks you to take one tiny step down.
And each step is so easy to rationalize. Oh, it's just a joke, or I'm just doing my job.
Everyone else is doing it. I don't want to make a scene. It's about normalization. The source says cruelty begins with permission.
Permission.
Permission to sneer. Permission to simplify a complex person into a simple label. If you aren't paying attention to those tiny steps, those little moments of permission, you look up one day and realize you're miles down in the dark.
That idea of permission is the perfect setup for the story in this piece, the vignette called The Lantern Keepers of Gloamvale.
It really is. It illustrates this staircase mechanism perfectly.
So let's set the scene. You have this valley, Gloamvale, and in this valley there is this permanent, thick, hungry fog.
Yeah, not a romantic mist. This is a fog that swallows sound and direction. It's dangerous.
So the people have a rule. It's a practical one. No one walks the fog alone. It's about survival.
It's a collective survival pact. Until the rumor starts. And notice how the staircase begins here. Not with a tyrant, but with whispers.
People saying the fog isn't that dangerous. Or even worse, that some people are just better suited to the light than others.
It's that permission we just talked about. Why waste oil on strangers? They should have brought their own lantern. It's the logic of scarcity being used to justify cruelty.
And slowly the vibe shifts. The unthinkable becomes debatable, then it becomes acceptable, and then the crisis hits. A traveler falls in the fog. He's hurt, he's calling for help.
And suddenly a sign gets tacked to the community hall door. It says, "Light is for the deserving. Oil is limited. Fog is natural."
Ugh, there's a line in the story where people hear the traveler's cries and say, "Stop making a drama of it," framing compassion as hysteria.
It's gaslighting on a community scale. It shames the instinct to help. And this is the moment where we expect the hero with the moral cape, right? To swoop in, make a fiery speech.
But that's not what happens. The person who steps up is old Mara, the baker. The story says she has flour on her sleeves.
And she doesn't have a sword, she has a butter knife.
And this is key. She doesn't make a speech. She doesn't debate the economics of oil. She just walks up to the sign and starts scraping it down. Scrape, scrape, scrape.
Just this small, irritating, ordinary motion. And she says 4 words.
We don't do that here.
We don't do that here. It's so powerful. She's not quoting a rule book. She's defining the identity of the we.
She says something like, if you let a sign practice you, it will.
Exactly. She knew that standing there, reading that sign and doing nothing, that was a form of rehearsal. It was rehearsing indifference. By scraping it down, she wasn't just removing paper, she was breaking the trance.
But because she did that small thing, the ripple effect starts. A teenager named Ren steps up and just says, I'll go. Then others join. They form a line of lanterns.
Slow constellation. And they go get the traveler. The fog is still there. The world isn't magically safe. But, as the story says, the fog is no longer in charge.
There's a coda to this story that I think is the most important part. When they get back, someone has put up a new, smaller sign. It asks, why do you care so much?
Which is the classic defense of the cynic, right?
Yeah.
Attack the motivation. Frame caring as cringe.
And Mara's answer. She leaves a loaf of bread on the steps. And on the wrapper, she writes, because practice becomes people.
Practice becomes people. That is the thesis of this whole deep dive. You become what you rehearse.
Yeah.
Mira's reflex was to grab the lantern, not hoard the oil, because that's what she'd been practicing her whole life.
So this brings us to the so what part of the show. We can't just admire old Mira, we have to figure out how to be her. And the source calls this section the moral gym.
I love this framing. It takes the mysticism out of it. You want to be strong, you lift weights. You want to be decent, you have to drill. The source gives us a low-stakes rehearsal plan with 6 exercises.
Okay, let's run through them. Number 1 is the one-sentence boundary.
This is about training your voice. The advice is to pick a phrase like, I'm not comfortable with that, or even just, ouch, and say out loud, alone, in your car.
Okay, but isn't that a little ridiculous, me standing in my shower muttering to a bottle of shampoo?
It feels totally ridiculous,
Yeah.
but that's the point. You have to get the words physically available to you. Think about it. When you're in a tense social situation, your heart is pounding, your throat closes up. If you haven't physically practiced saying the words, you'll just freeze.
You need the sentence in your mouth before you need it.
Exactly. Muscle memory for your vocal cords.
Okay, number 2, the gentle interruption.
This is for when harm shows up as just talking. You don't have to flip the table. You just need to break the spell of consensus.
Because silence implies agreement, so what's the drill?
You use curiosity. Something like, I think that's based on a stereotype, or even just, huh, what makes you say that? You're not trying to destroy them, you're just putting a little speed bump in the conversation. You're signaling that not everyone agrees with the cruelty.
Okay, number 3 is information hygiene. Big one for our times.
Treat truth like a lantern. The drill here is restraint. Don't share outrage bait until you verify it. Correct a lie once with a source, then disengage. Don't feed the fog.
Number 4, micro help, the anti-cynicism vitamin.
This is about refusing to go numb. The drill is to do small things that have a real but sustainable cost. Tip extra, offer a ride, donate $5 to a mutual aid fund.
But does that really do anything? I mean, buying someone a coffee doesn't solve systemic injustice.
No, it doesn't. But this drill isn't about saving the world in one go. It's about saving you from indifference. It keeps your empathy muscles from atrophying. It prevents the callus from growing over your heart.
Number 5 is the one that makes my stomach turn a bit. Repair practice.
It is so hard. It means swallowing your pride. The drill is to admit when you were wrong with no buts attached. I stayed quiet earlier when I should have spoken up. I'm sorry.
That goes right back to that revision pillar. It feels like losing.
It feels like failure. But the source argues it's actually the strongest possible move. It shows your relationship with the truth is more important than your need to be right. That's a profound moral act.
And finally, number 6, courage with exit ramps.
The safety check. Morality is not self-destruction. Sometimes the right move is not to engage.
Right, you don't have to fight every single battle.
Exactly. Leaving, documenting, calling for allies, those are valid moral choices. Courage has many costumes. Sometimes it looks like running away so you can fight another day.
So we have this toolkit, we have the story, and we have this core idea that we are creatures of habit.
If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. You don't just wake up one morning and decide to be indifferent. You wake up realizing you've been rehearsing indifference all along, practicing looking away, practicing silence.
We are always practicing something. Every interaction is a rep.
We are. But that's also the hopeful part. You can choose to rehearse decency. You can practice it in the grocery line, in a group chat, in the quiet of your own home.
And if you do that when the fog rolls in...
Yeah. And the fog always rolls in eventually. You won't have to think. You'll just reach for the light.
The source gives a few journal prompts to get us started. I'll throw a couple out for you to think about. Maybe pick one.
Like this one. Where do I go silent to stay comfortable? That's a really powerful one.
Or, what is one sentence I want in my mouth before I need it? That goes back to the vocal drills.
And what's a belief I've inherited that I'm willing to revisit? That's the revision pillar right there.
We want to leave you with the closing blessing from the source. It's, well, in the context of all this, it feels pretty sacred to me.
May your values learn to walk on 2 feet. May your compassion stay practical. May your courage stay human. And may you practice the light, not because you're certain you'll be thanked, but because you refuse to let the fog have the final word.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
Keep practicing.
The Sacred Play podcast is a production of the Church of Sacred Play, thechurchofsacredplay.com.
You could be anywhere else listening to anything else. You gave us your time. We thank you. Stay curious.
And we'll see you in the next
Sacred Play podcast.